Good morning, Cougars. It is finally Friday, and we are going to talk about AMI Day 30 for 8th grade math. Let's start with the question. The question says, the scatter plot shows the weight and fuel efficiency data of cars with a linear model line represented by the following equation. And then the questions ask, what is the value of slope and what does it mean in the context? 2 says, what does the other number in the equation represent? What does it mean in the context? 3 says, use the equation to predict the fuel efficiency of a car that weighs 100 kilograms. And 4, use the equation to predict the weight of a car that has a fuel efficiency of 22. And so I'm going to use another scatter plot just to kind of talk you through the different ideas. So let's look at my scatter plot. My scatter plot is comparing calories consumed to weight gain. Excuse me, and then it has the equation. And so obviously the equation tells us the slope, that's the coefficient of x, that's the number in front of x. And so if I was to answer these questions, what is the value of the slope? Well, in this case, it'd be 0.0005. And what does it mean in the context? Well, for mine, we are going to go up 0.005. For every calorie consumed, we're going to go up 0.005 in weight gained. So slope is comparing the x to the y, and if it were negative, then as the x, as whatever the x was, went down, then, excuse me, let's start over with that. Whatever the x was, if it were a negative slope, then for every calorie consumed, the weight gained would go down. So negative slope means as x increases, y decreases, and so that's what you need to know for the cars and the weight efficiency. The second question talks about what is the other number in the equation represent. Well, it's the y-intercept. It's where it crosses the y-axis. It's what we start with. And so for my equation, we actually start with a negative number. And so if we go back and we look at, if we go back and we look at this one, what does the 41 mean? Well, that means what fuel efficiency would mean, if it were at 0. And then the last two, use the equation to predict the fuel efficiency of a car that weighs 100 kilograms. In other words, we're going to plug in that number into x and solve for y. And then the last one, they're giving you the y and asking you to solve for x. So let's try that with my problem here. And we're just going to pick out some random things. Let's say that, what's the weight gained if x were to equal 10,000? If x were to equal 10,000. So what does that mean? 10,000 calories consumed. We're going to plug that into our equation. 0.0005 times 10,000 minus 0.7546. And that would give you y equals 4.2454. So if you were to consume 10,000 calories, this would predict that you would gain 4.24 pounds. Let's talk about the last one. Let's say I wanted to figure out, well, how many calories would I have to consume in order to gain 3 pounds. So in this case, I would plug in the 3 for the y, and then I would solve for it. So the first thing I would do is I would add 0.7546 to both sides. And then I would end up dividing by 0.0005. And when I do that, I get approximately 7,509 calories. So you would have to eat 7,500 calories in order to gain those 3 pounds. So this is just an example of, hopefully you can use it. I know it's a little bit different in that the example, you've got a negative correlation and you've got a positive y-intercept, but hopefully it correlates for you. Have a great weekend, Cougars.